My name is Amarjeet Bhamra, and I'm based in Windsor in the United Kingdom, and I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner. With my passion for Ayurveda, I have been very closely involved with initially going back to 2009 to set up a campaign to save herbal medicine. There was unfortunately a directive that came through the European Union which basically prohibited the importation of herbal medications into Europe from outside the European boundary. And so we then set up a campaign to fight this directive in 2009 at the Houses of Parliament in London. And you'll be pleased to know that within 6 weeks of the date that we set the campaign, which was the 12th of November 2009, that we had over 1.5 million signatures, which we then presented to the British government. And the outcome of that petition was that the British government decided to annul that directive as far as UK was concerned, but gave permission for practitioners like me and other practitioners for example, traditional Chinese medicine and other Western herbal medicine, so that they can actually import, for example, like for Ayurvedic treatments, so you can import herbs in fresh or in dry form from a country like India, and that can be safely imported into the UK, and providing that the Ayurvedic practitioner has relevant qualifications and is therefore able to prepare the Ayurvedic medicines which he can then offer to his or her patients. So from there on, we went on to then set up what today is known as the All Party Parliamentary Group on Indian Traditional Sciences, which basically is a cross-party parliamentary group from both houses of Parliament in England, encompassing over 24 members. And I have the privilege to administer this group. So what we do is every other month we have an awareness meeting in the Houses of Parliament to bring in parliamentarians, to bring in policymakers, to bring in other stakeholders and other community leaders and representatives of the complementary and alternative medicine industry, so that we have a debate and we have a presentation to create awareness for the prevention-orientated programs that complementary and alternative medicine, and especially Indian traditional sciences, has to offer. And Dave, for yesterday, one of the outcomes of the very hard work that we've been doing with the APPG on Indian traditional sciences since its inception in 2004 is that Prime Minister Modi, the current Prime Minister of India, and His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales inaugurated the first Centre of Excellence for yoga and Indian traditional medicine in London, whereby we will now have research-orientated programs running at this research centre, which is part of the NHS England program. So all the studies that will transpire and that will take place will be then validated and understood by the health authorities in the UK. In the West, the choice for becoming vegetarian or vegan is really a lifestyle choice. So we have almost 2 million vegans and vegetarians in the UK as far as the general public is concerned. But there is a great respect from the parliamentary community for the vegetarian and the vegan community. And though that they may not be practicing vegetarians, not all of them indeed, but some of them are very keen, to understand our concept and help us establish further awareness within the parliamentary community. We're now living in times where, for example, what is natural has been put into a bracket. So veganism and vegetarianism is a natural phenomenon for humans to follow on the planet. But we've been put into a bracket, so they call us vegetarians or they call us vegans. That means that whatever the rest of the human population is doing, and that's natural. So they feel that obviously, to take an animal's life and to eat it is quite natural. So it's a paradox, at this moment in time that we live in, and obviously the system, is completely geared up with a different moral ethics and values than to what we in vegetarianism and veganism and in our traditional sciences encapsulate. So it is going against the grain. I mean, going back, for example, in the 60s, when my parents and our family moved to the United Kingdom, it was almost unthinkable, to promote vegetarianism, and we were labeled as cranks. But now, when you look at where we've arrived in the last 40, 50 years, it's colossal. The amount of work that has been done, by the vegan and the vegetarian fraternity is immense. But we are still not out of the woods yet. There's a huge amount of work that needs to be done. I just hope that, all of us stay committed to our cause and keep on working hard as we have been. Now there is so much evidence, in what's happening in abattoirs, which are slaughterhouses, where these poor animals are killed for human consumption. And there's a lot of material on YouTube, and we can all see for ourselves the state of this process, that humankind is putting, into action, and I think, we would need to consider that if we feel that, we are at the top of this knowledge of life, and that there is no other animal, that matches our intelligence, and we feel that we are at the highest end of this intelligence, surely our service, to the environment and to this planet and to every living creature should be that of a protector and not a predator. There's obviously a growing amount of evidence now where the state of the animal, that, when it is being killed, those cells then are put into this so-called food chain, which I really don't like to use the word food chain, because that's not really food. So we have to think of a word that we can really describe that as an alternative to food. And that obviously comes into the system, into human health. And in Indian traditional sciences, we say you are what you can digest. And unfortunately, when you're eating products of that nature, and it takes a long time for the metabolism to process all those products, and obviously are not of any real benefit to human diet.